I suck at art, and no, I'm not fishing for compliments and I'm not trying to find pity, I'm just saying what I think. It's been several years since I accidentally started this YouTube channel when I posted a review of a Surface Pro 3. And it's only been 3.5 years since I decided, hey, I'm gonna post a video every single week and get this thing going. And I started an art channel even though I wasn't an artist. I was a web designer, I was designing web pages, and since then, I think I've gotten a lot better at art and illustration because I'm doing it on a weekly basis and I'm drawing more and more. I'm practicing. But if I want to be completely honest with myself, I don't like most of the things that I draw. I don't think they're nearly as good as what's in my head or what maybe I'm capable of, or maybe I'm just not capable of creating. Confession time, in my review videos, you've seen it where I draw a bunch of stuff in my B-roll and that's playing in the background while I'm reviewing the product. And I'm usually drawing it on the product I'm reviewing. Usually that's sped up a little bit, so I get about 20 minutes, maybe a half hour, even 40 minutes of footage of me inking and then coloring something in. What you do not see are the hours that I spent creating that drawing beforehand. So it's not just me creating on the fly like it looks like in the video, it's actually the second time I've drawn those things on camera. The first time I'm messing with composition and figuring out where things go and trying different color combinations and failing over and over and over again to get to something that looks halfway decent. Part of the reason I do that is if you had 4 hours of footage and sped it up into a 10-minute video, it would look horrible and it would be too fast to really tell what was going on. But a big part, and maybe even a bigger part of the reason why I do that, are my own insecurities about the work I produce. Early on this channel, I would get a lot of comments that went something like this. Why should I trust this guy's opinion? His art sucks. He doesn't know what he's doing. Now, most of the negative comments that you get on YouTube just roll off your back. You don't care. You don't mind. There's a lot of them. It comes with the territory. But one of the things I have learned over the years of doing this is that if you get the same negative comment over and over and over again, oftentimes there is a grain of truth in it. One comment that I got an awful lot when I started this channel is, why do we have to look at this guy's ugly face? Why doesn't he show more of the product? Now, on the surface, it sounds really mean. My mother says I'm beautiful. But if you dig a little bit deeper, there's some good advice in there, which is people aren't here to see me, they're here to see the product. Nowadays, when I do a review, a lot of times I just never show up in the video unless it's like a little animated head bouncing up and down. But back then, I didn't really know much about doing video. Editing video took me forever. I didn't know how to do good product shots. Most of the shots that I was trying to do were just like reflections on the screen of me holding a phone over the screen. It's taken time and practice to learn and get to the point I'm at now. So the reason this particular comment stings is because deep down inside, I kind of agree with it. Part of that is insecurity, and part of that is that I want to do better, and I'm not sure how to get better at art. I mean, I know the basics. If you say, how do you get better at art? Everybody will say, oh, you need to practice. But oftentimes I'm left wondering, practice what? Right, school. Yes, I was just about to get to that part, Mr. Question Parrot. Yeah, so I'm going back to school. Now, first of all, I'm not going to a traditional sign-up 4-year university type school. I want to try something a little bit different. Do a YouTube search for the term, should I go to art school, and see what pops up. I watch a lot of those videos, and the consensus seems to be that for the amount of money you have to pay and the amount of debt you have to take on to go to a traditional several-year-long art school, it's just not worth it. The amount of money that you're going to make coming out of school in one of those jobs and the money you're going to make in the years after those jobs, it's just not a lot of money for the amount of debt that you're taking on. You're not making doctor money or lawyer money. It's going to be hard to pay off that debt. The one thing that I'm a little bit curious about is almost everybody who's saying don't go to art school is already a professional illustrator or artist. Some of them went to art school, some of them did not go to art school, but I would consider all of the videos that I watch to be from people who are doing really well, or at least their artwork is really good. And many of those people did go to art school, so I'm wondering, is there something that's happening in a school setting, whether it's the encouragement of teachers or whether it's kind of learning from your peers that you're surrounded by? Are there things that are happening in an art school that maybe you don't necessarily see just by looking at the curriculum or just by looking at what's being taught in a class? And what I really want to know is, can I do this? Can I do this on my own? So as some of you already know, I've started this. I started this a couple weeks ago in my sketchbook club, which is my free email newsletter that comes out every other week. And so far I only have 2 lessons up in there. The third one is coming out this Friday. What's the date this Friday? April 19th. If you want to sign up for that, there's a link down in the description. And what I've started to do in that email is I am sharing my experience of going back to school. I've started a little bit slower, but I'm getting a little bit more intense now. I'm creating homework assignments for myself. I'm creating a curriculum of things to do over the course of every 2 weeks. I'm giving myself something to learn, and I'm forcing myself to stay to it and stick to that homework. A lot of people want to follow along with that, so that's going to be in there too. I'm going to be sharing that homework and saying, this is what I'm learning, this is what I'm going to be practicing, and this is what I'm going to be doing. What I want to have a year from now is a curriculum. So anybody that wants to say, I want to learn art, I can say, start here. Here is the curriculum that I would recommend you follow, and here are the resources online that I think that I learned from and I think you would benefit from. Getting to that point, I think there's going to be a lot of trial and error. I've already hit some points where I've realized that, hey, this particular lesson I thought would be good for me, but is a little bit over my head. I have to learn something a step down first. I also had the opportunity to chat with some of the guys over at Proco, whose YouTube channel I've been linking up in some of those early lessons that I've been sharing with you guys. They gave me access to their anatomy course to try out. I have a feeling that's going to be one of those. It's a little over my head, but I'm going to be diving into that too. So I am really curious what you guys think. Is it possible to teach yourself everything that you need to know that you might learn at a traditional school? If you have been to an art school, what kind of things am I not going to get teaching myself online that I might get if I went to a traditional school? Let me know down below in the comments. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll be back in a couple of days.